Kind of don't know what's in and what's out of the sale, but it's all got to go. I don't know what make that is. Like Jones and Shipman. Quite a big one. Seen better days. Table saw. Nice bench top drill, minus its motor. There's a big old Parkson universal mill at the back there. Grinding station in front. And then something else which I've no idea what it is. Anyway, we're going around. It's all being laid out for a farm auction online. So we'll have a walk round. So pretty much everything in the field's up for auction. And we'll have a walk round and look at each of the lots. Not in any great detail. It's old Boxford by the look of it. And another one. All sorts of stuff. It's a lifetime's collection. Don't get excited about the Land Rover. It is sold and it's been here about 5 weeks now waiting to be collected. It's a Boxford C, I think that is. There's no gearbox on it, on no back gear. Probably had a nice cabinet a long time ago. Table saw. All the various bits. That's a Myford, or it was. It's all there, but I think that you could safely say that's past its best. Sat on a table saw. Right, let's go and have a look round. The auction's being run in a week's time. Today being a Wednesday, I think it starts next Thursday, so a week tomorrow. So if it's ticketed, that's the lot number. I don't know what half of this stuff is. I mean, obviously I recognise an engine when I see one. It looks like a pump of some form. I highly suspect an awful lot of this will end up getting weighed in. I actually picked this linisher up from the scrapyard with Chris. There was nothing wrong with it other than it was a bit rusty. But come with a load of belts. We could give 50 quid for it. Nice couple of old anvils. I've seen plenty of use, but still plenty of life left in them. Top's a bit damaged. Loads of welders. Tail stock off a lathe and a change gear assembly. Nice little pillar drill, minus a few bits. That trolley would be nice done up, wouldn't it? Looks like it went off the railways. Bench legs. A lot of the stuff is, you know, bust, so it's kind of like buyer beware, but assume that's farmyard apparatus. Another big engine. That's a rather large grinding station. I should think those wheels have got wet. Nice little vertical drill. I think that was pedal operated. It's just missing the bar and the linkage to the top. So as you push the pedal down, it drives that crank round and gives you a drill. Be nice in a blacksmith shop, that. What else we got? Old lathe bed, a bit of cast iron. That looks like part of a taper turning attachment, and quite a nice little straight edge. Obviously wants reworking. Nice bit of tooling blanks. Yeah, that's seen better days. No idea what that's off. Is it a V8 that? What's it say on the bottom there? Rolls Royce. A Rolls Royce engine. Don't think it will go in a Land Rover. Another welder. Oh, other cement mixer. Small selection of vices. That looks like it's going as a lot, that. Some nice units in there as well. Some Fortis, Record. Yeah, some all manner of different ones. That appears to be a thing, a device. That looks like a toggle press. Crank the handle, works on a cam, thumps the tooling down. Three-legged stand, don't know what that's off. That looks like a Puma lathe. What's it say there? Oh, smart and brown. Still turns. Nice little stand for a vice. No, I'm afraid to say I don't know what these things are. Generator, agitator, or I don't know. Looks like an old lister. Nice little stand. Another drill. Is it a drill or a press? One or the other. Yeah, because you need one of them in your garden. Nice little axle for something. Arbor press, missing its ratchet mechanism. And I should think that'll take a bit of freeing up, but I suspect it'd free up. Bit of control gear. Is that dated? 1976. This was a grinding station that was behind all the planer and stuff. I mean, it looks like it's had a bit of a thump. Centaur. Pipe threader, quite a big one. Block and tackle. Continuous chain, I should say. Another little, what's that, Lister one, is that? No, that's a Bamford. That's quite nice. One of them. Load of pipe threading gear and all the paraphernalia on here. It looks like another welding setup. I can't imagine them being bought, but you never know. I should think they're worth the weight in copper. One there. And what's noticeable is there's already stuff got moved from when I looked round yesterday. These trestles came out of Craven before some numpty put a big block of wood on them. They all had the same size block, and they were used for building the machines on, and they'd have hundreds of them under the machines. More little Lister units. I mean, I've no idea what these things do. Somebody else does. That's an old Rapidor saw. That's a little tool cabinet with various bits in. Oh, a vertical slotter. I haven't seen one of them for a while. What brand is that? I mean, it's off a flat belt, and that's your hand crank, and it is Summit and Groom. You can't see, but from Manchester. can't see under there. I can't see Cunley or something like that it is. Wants quite a bit of work. Although in fairness, it's probably about the same condition as my Sshaper that I've refurbished. Quite a bit smaller footprint. Another, I'm sure they're a drill of some form. Come along winch, sizable one. Yeah, another saw for flat belt work. Who's that one? Edward Herbert. Nice little setup that. It's obviously had a motor added at a later stage by the look of it. Right, so that's that little setup. Right, on the second section, we got what? Vintage old water pump, make a nice garden feature. Bit of railway memorabilia. What else have we got there? That's a thing of purpose. It looks like a swaging unit. Geared up. Various bits of blacksmith made gates and railings. Slightly dodgy looking winch assembly. Quite a few of these. I think there's about a dozen of them there. I mean, that thing's what, 4 foot lift, something like that. Vintage tripod. Loads of things like, you know, machine handles, oil cans. A set of old pulley wheels. Got to assume that was a car at one stage. I don't think that's in it. I think that's a leftover. An old sack truck. The wheels are probably worth 50 quid. Another wall drill or pillar drill. Belt stitching gear. Lead lights. Another one of these. Bench top one. Nice pair of wheels or pulleys. That's, I think, a surface plate, or at least it was before it was filled with crap. I'll just flip it over and see. That's too heavy for me to flip over. Item number 155, and that looks to be getting on for 30 inches square. Nicely cast, but I ain't digging it out. A few tow ropes, wheelie bits. Cans. I'm just going to make a random sort of pass. So loads of ices. Big set of plumbing, detailed plumbing apparatus. Oh, let's have a word with Prince Charles. I think he had a thing for toilets, didn't he? As opposed to Michael Jackson, not Michael Jackson, the guy out of Wham. He had a thing for hanging around toilets, didn't he? Various air tools and all just general gear. Appear to be hammer shafts. And a lot of nibblers and that was probably quite a nice set of gauges. Chris used to strip and rebuild stuff many years ago. Sorted all sorts of gear. More of it, bit of woodworking stuff. Set of tyres if you need any. A couple of old milk churns. stuff is. Wherever it was, it's fell apart since. Ooh, ornamental pineapples. That's an old one, isn't it? With adjustable angle auger drill. Animal feeds. Loads of jacks as well. He had a thing for vintage cars, and I think each set of cars had a jack. Bit of bench top centres, be nice to rebuild. What else we got there? Yeah. Pair of tongs. And that looks like a spanning parallel, albeit not parallel anymore. It's quite well rusted. Bit of sheep shearing gear. A lot of these have got locks on the yeah, I'll bloody open that. That's got stuff in it. Most of the old benches, workbench, tool chests are empty. All full of stuff which is of a questionable nature. Yeah, he had a thing for these big ass screwdrivers. I cleaned up a load at my place. No idea. What else have we got? Various jacks. Old spotlight. I know a guy who buys and rebuilds and sells spotlights, and I think his cheapest ones are about 450 quid, and they go up to 10 times that. That one's had a bit of a bump. So there's every chance that's loaded with tools, and it is. Life in your hands, see it's opening it up. Well, that's a handy piece of kit for shifting stuff. And then you got what looks like a jointer fence. Dodgy set of grinding setups. Jigsaws, polishers, drills, none of which I would think work because they all look fairly wet, have been fairly wet. That looks like the bottom of a snooker table or a pool table. Oh, another couple of vices. And some more. And some more. Oh, saw sharpening setup. Don't see them very often. What do we reckon that is? No idea, gearbox off something by the look of it. This is some kind of model train setup. There's the track. I assume that the top half of that comes off. I'm not going to start buggering about. Nice little wolf grinder with a jack and a propane bend. Yeah. old drills. Set of leaf springs, all set in a bit, pipe threading. Don't know. Right, so that's the next section covered. So you get an idea. I'm not going through the details of every lot because kind of like a lot of them are the same. They just kind of bundled stuff together to get it out. They're still empty in places. Ooh. That was a bearing puller. Somewhere's the other half of it. Hammers and chisels and some kind of pump. Anybody any idea? I ain't. Ice cream maker. Yeah. The welder. Some nice old jacks. No end of these, and then they're nice, handy bits of kit as a toe jack. Seem to think there's a few of those. Yeah, if you had a use for them. Old lathe turning dogs. Van project. So these are the machines that we dug out 3 weeks ago. They decided to put them into auction because the figures I was coming out with from guys that were interested seemed under what they felt they were worth for scrap. Anyway, so that's what a Milwaukee mill. You get a much better idea of the condition of it out here. That is the Lang lathe. Slotted table. That was once a precision marking table. Another slotted table, some trestles. That's the DSG. That's it labelled on there. Rotherham. $404 RPM. If you can get it to go. Handy unit though. Hell of a paperweight. What else have we got? Oh, that's the pillar drill, which we had a look at. I mean, that stands at what, maybe 6'6". I still haven't seen a maker's mark on it. Just be a shame to see it chucked in the bloody skip. Oh, hang on, what's that one? Fosdike. Never heard of them. But a bit of research will find them for you. Nice little Crosley unit. I think they're for tipping drums on. That's the Butler Sshaper. I mean, they've literally just pulled them out and put them down, so. Can't see any mechanism for an auto down feed. Yeah. So that stands about 4'6" tall to the top of here, and my guess is that weighs a bit over a ton. Wouldn't want it in the boot of an estate. That's the old Herbert saw, girder saw, and that is a lump. I mean, I'm guessing the bed on that weighs a fair old amount. Yeah. That's the planer mill. And again, I don't think there's anything on it that you couldn't repair. There doesn't seem to be any ends of castings or anything. So I think it's all there. Well, it certainly looks to be. There'll be only some peripheral stuff that's missing. That stands 6 foot tall, and the dimensions are in the other video. The plate that was lying behind it seems to have been binned, which I'm rather annoyed about, but there you go. So that's the machines. Now the next section's sort of pretty much the same as the second section I covered. So sort of a random assembly of everything. Everything from axle stands, pumps, just kind of farm, agricultural memorabilia kind of stuff. Pressure tester. Yeah. Some old glazing. Now they're old. Nice little blacksmith made stand for a vice, albeit slightly undersized vice perhaps. But there's going to be a lot of that, much of a muchness kind of thing. Some nice old cast brackets. If you wanted a particularly heavy duty bench, shelf. Don't know what that is. Any thoughts? No idea. Yeah. Look like car gearboxes. Yeah. I foresee quite a bit of this just going back in the skip, or lifting gear. Tiny little second op lathe. Thing for mincing up mincy things. Oh, white line painter. For the local cricket club, no doubt. That's a big ass thing, what's that? Oh, big circular saw. Black & Decker. Yeah. That'd take your arm off in a rush. I think that's valve seat grinder. Yeah. That's another pair of pulleys. One of them. And definitely one of them. What do we think that is? No idea. I'm sorry for the slightly erratic filming, I'm looking as I'm going round, so could have done with that lot doing my cottage. Yep. Oh, another pipe threading gear. Selection of G clamps. That's a tapping head setup. I've been sweating away in a box for donkey's years. Might clean up, might not. It's not numbered, so the guy's got to come back and finish off his numbering, I believe. Carrying on. That's a big ass bearing puller. It looks like a Picanto. Can't remember what it was. Ones that have an hydraulic setup. I freed one off for Chris. It took about 8 weeks to do it. Thread forming dies. They've come off a lathe on something. It's like a Myford if I'm any judge. Nice little Bernard chuck once. Not anymore. But again, you know, a bit of work, clean up, you just need a new backplate on it. That's a Dickinson tool holder. Ain't going to be precision anymore though. Set of sockets. There we go. Half-inch width. Super shoe. Bit of a push bike. They look like motor mounting rails. I mean, I wouldn't want to buy a pair new because they charge you a bloody fortune. Bearings and pulleys. That's one of them. So that's a crank wheel with a stand on top, but no connected to it. Ropey bit of chain, wire rope. Another swager, or roller if you like. That's almost a fly press, but it's not. Not far off, it's just a press. What have we got in there? Pipe cutting gear, bottle jack, plane, load of big ass chisels. Pretty much same in that lot. And then if you're after a large door hinge, somebody spent some time whacking out that, didn't they? That is a sad to say, that was a precision square. Again, we've got quite a bit of cleaning up, but there's a pair of them there. I'm not going to bother trying to find the name on them. Stuff. That's a riser for something. A valve seat. Was it for compressing your valves on a cylinder head? Gas iron seat legs. Yeah, a few more of them. You can't have too many vices in the world. I mean, that's what a number 36 is, a 6-inch face. Mini jacks. Tapping head. in questionable condition. It moves. That might actually clean up to be a nice little lock. That's what, $3.99. Big ass machine skate. Another tow bar, you know, for lifting stuff and moving it around. Could do with one of them myself. Nice pair of vices. Another pair of vices. One of them. Some of that. That's quite a big, what's that, inch diameter air gun. Oh, that's a bench top Sshaper. What make is it? Quite a few of these made. It's missing a few bits, but probably all come together. So yeah, rather than the workpiece moving across left and right, workpiece stays fixed, head moves backwards and forwards, and then it indexes along one way or the other. I haven't seen one of those that size. What's the name on it? Perfecto. They did them as kits, I think. Nice little find for somebody. Some of that. Some of that. Yeah, not entirely sure what that lot is. Toe hitch. Adjustable toe hitch. Set of old bikes. Oh, we all recognise that one. That's a mag chuck. Nice little oiler. I used to collect them, Chris. And it appears shiny stuff. Oh, look at their little oil cup heads, aren't they? Button oilers. Quite a lot of them. Some random handles. Split washers. Yeah. 334. I think they've split them into small weight lots so that they can be picked up with a car. Yeah, no idea. What's that, oil bush? Oh, yeah, drip feeders. Yeah, I don't think leaving them out in the rain for a fortnight's done them any favours. But they got that much stuff, they got to bring it out to be able to see it. No idea. All electricity and pneumatics. Trunking. That looks like a belt drive. And a rather large bit of wire. That is the bellows off a blacksmith's forge. And listening to it, still working. What else have we got? Welder, waiting for its copper. I mean, these draw sets, the people that buy them aren't interested in contents, they just want sell them as I don't know, for these yuppie types that live in fashionable places. Yeah. Ooh, heavy. That's it. It's off. That was a bit of a disappointment. But again, you know, it's a tool chest, isn't it? Somebody's old pair of underpants by the look of it. A few more axle stands. Benchtop pillow drill. We used to have one of them in our front garden where I grew up, painted white, and it was about the same condition by the time I'd got to 18, and I had to draw it all out for my dad and dimension it all so he could remake one, which he definitely put off and put off and put off. And then they brought a motorhome, didn't need it. Cunning old so-and-so. That's another pair of those trestles from Craven. That's the standard size of the wood that was on them. But all of them were like, got some kind of trauma to the legs. If you fancy a bit of cobbling. What else have we got? Oh, I missed this up. More air drills. Or pneumatic ratchet gun. Some fairly hefty. Oh, that's a gib key, isn't it? Yeah. Big ass old tap set. That'll be Whitworth. I'm not going through to assess whether they're complete or not. You have to pause the video and have a look. Disappointing when you get one that opens up and there's an out in it, isn't it? More vices and a toe jack. Some rather large S-hook. Yeah. Cable shear. Or if you look at it on the other way, it's a nice little hydraulic setup that you can connect up to whatever you like. Yeah, that's some kind of hydraulic or pneumatic setup. That's a pair of surface plates. I'm not going to bother lifting them up because they're both rusted, but they're not pitted. Another hydraulic setup. Some of that. Some of them. Got to assume this is for stuff that isn't on the list of cars they're keeping. No idea, like tractor bits, to be honest. Yeah, that was another, that's a big ass, it's that 4 foot machine set in square. Big jack stand, a few more vices. Another hydraulic setup. Yeah. Now I seem to remember reading somewhere that these things were quite hard to get hold of. So that's a Centec milling head, and they used to fit them over a. That still turns all right. You fit them on a column. I can't remember what milling machine it was, but they used to sit them over the top of a Myford lathe. Be a nice find for somebody. few more wheelbarrows. Another ornamental pump. Ooh, electric chainsaw. Didn't fancy my chances with that one. Well, them bikes go back a bit, don't they? So that's that lot done. Just a load of bits and pieces now. Nice little bench grinder, but it'll be 3-phase that, I would guess. Looking at the size of it, yeah. Trestles, nice pair of big jacks. Nice trestle, large. Tiddy lamps. Stuff. More jacks. Don't know. Don't know. Assorted stuff. Pipe threader. That's a big ass hydro light. And that is it thus far. They've got another, I think, half day to bring stuff out, but I think they're pretty much reached the end of what they were aiming for. The auctioneer is here, he's labelling stuff up, photographing it. And I shall put a link at the bottom of the video for the auction site. I don't know whether that's another one or it's the same one. It's another vertical slotter. It's a different one. Arguably not in much better condition. Jesus. But it would clean up that, as they all would. You see a maker's mark or a plate? Sun's come out. Nothing on the door. Nothing on the pedestal. Nothing. It's not very big, and I mean it's slotting pulleys. What do you need? Handy though, because you've got all the XY. Nice little unit. To miss these dividing head. Trying to see if I can see him make. There's two of them. Big ones. I mean that's 12 inches. It's a shame it's rusted up, but it would clean up. It's an optical one, so it might be Zeiss. I remember Chris telling me he had a Zeiss one. Can't see a maker's label, but given the condition, it's probably fell off. The other one is... that's a Zeiss. Yeah. There's the optical finder. In which case, there's every chance that the label's on that side there. Nope. Yeah, sat on a spindle moulder with a knackered up machinist vice. I mean, cleaned up. They're a few £100, aren't they? Current condition, what they're worth. Depends on what the optics are like now. Another little Myford, and a dead one next to it. Although strictly speaking, I don't think you say that's alive, can you? Yeah, I must have breezed past these. Well, we're in one of the barns. That's another old Sshaper. I'm not going to dig around, they're pulling them all out. It's a belt drive one. Might even be another butler looking at it, although it's a different configuration. Don't know what this is. Nice set of old bellows, they look like All Days and Onions. Bit of line shafting. I mean, it is just, it's rammed. And they go get all this lot out for Monday and in the field. old 4-jaw. The linisher. That looks like a cross slide off a lathe. All sorts of gear. So it looks like we'll be doing an addendum to this one, this vid. Can't see what other stuff is, but there's blacksmithing stuff. There's a spinning round. Oops. There are a load of old gas forges. Yeah. How's it fun? I mean, there's chucks and vices and blacksmith's vices, leg vices, grinding gear, just about anything and everything. But none of it's what you'd call pristine. I'm not going upstairs because I know the roof's failed.